sure can. Barbara, there's been a lot of fighting today. You know, Barbara, Nathan calls in, he's picking fights, dropping the gloves, and I feel I have to defend my countrymen, and we're in like a spat here, Barbara. Come in here and bring some sanity to us. Break it up.
All right, well, I'm gonna tell you my little story real quick, and then I'll get off and listen to
No, you're good.
I'm Canadian. I stay here during the winter months. I'm in my 70s. I'm independently wealthy. But if I stay one day over my 183 allowable days, I can be banned for life. And I own my own airplane. I fly back.
Wait, sorry. Banned for life from where? From whom?
From coming into the United States.
Okay.
So the customs officer sees that I exceeded my stay by one day, and I can be banned for life. It's not debatable. I have to turn around and go home.
Okay, so sorry, one more question. So this is America would ban you from coming down, or Canada would let you know?
Correct.
Okay.
No. Okay. Canada, I don't give a crap what they say because I'm Canadian and they have to let me in whether they like it or not. And I can tell you whole stories about how I played my little games during COVID and their draconian lockdowns. And as you can tell from my past here, I am sick and tired of being Canadian, as proud as I am at our origins and the country that I grew up in. But what it's turned into now is an absolute horror story. And I'll tell you why you don't want Canada as a 51st state. You would have to deal with Quebec. And Quebec will want everyone to speak French, and they get special treatment by the Liberal government. And your idea of dividing us into a couple different states is kind of cheap. I'm for it. Why wouldn't Canadians want freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, the ability to travel back and forth without having to worry about exceeding the 183 days? Who in their right mind wants all the regulations that we have? And I could just go on and on, because I think Canadians are waiting as patiently as we can for an election to be called so we can rid ourselves of the black-faced hypocrite who is standing down, apparently, as our prime minister, but he's still gallivanting around the world, giving speeches about climate and gender equality while we suffer and wait for him to go away. It's really tough. It's really become trying. So I, for one, I'm all for a 51st state. Take us on if you dare.
Now, I don't want to let go of you yet, Barbara. Emma Jo, your fellow countrywoman, she says we can handle Quebec by working with them to literally become their own thing. Like, that's what they want anyway. So can't Quebec just be its own little, Vatican?
Yes, but see, okay, but you know what the problem with that is? A long time ago they had a referendum, and it was very close. They wanted to separate, and a lot of Canadians are saying, you know what, we don't need you anymore. You're becoming a pain. And they lost that referendum, but because I traveled with my airplane to Labrador, Newfoundland, and northern Quebec, there's an indigenous population there that would have none of that. They own all of the electricity and the water power that we deliver to the rest of the country, and they would not go for Quebec saying we're going off on our own. It's so complex, as you can imagine, because there's all the Canada pension, there's our version of Social Security, there's the health care issues, there are so many little details that would have to be worked out that I guarantee you a lot of Quebecers would be upset about it. And when they did have that referendum, I think it was back in the early 90s or late 80s, they had a lot of the Anglophones moved out of Quebec because they thought this isn't going to work for us. If we don't speak French, we're going to be in big trouble. And they already make it difficult. We're supposed to be a bilingual country, which is laughable, because maybe 20% of people speak French. And to be qualified to be our prime minister, you must speak fluent French, which is pretty funny. Because if you watch the current leadership debate for the anointed one that they're trying to put in while they wait for an election to be called, his French is terrible, but they're scrambling to make it look like he can pass muster. Not that it matters, nobody cares. Everybody speak English. When we went there, Mike, as students, to try to, buoy up our French, which we're forced to take until we can drop it in grade 9, they treated us terribly. They could tell by our accents we weren't native Quebecois, and they were downright nasty to us. So they have, not all of them, of course, but they have this. And if you don't buy into what their way of thinking is and their protectionism and their liberalism, then you're Yahoo, which is one of my favorite terms, because that's what our premier, who just got elected in Ontario, started calling everybody during COVID who disagreed with.
Oh, that's an actual Canadian insult. Is it Yahoo?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Okay. I can
And Canadians tend to think about, I know you could, but not everybody can. And the pearl clutching that's going on in Canada right now, and I'm sure you're hearing that from some of your other callers, but, oh my God, because how can they dare say that we're going to be willing to be a 51st state? It's laughable. And yet these people are very serious. They're like your lefties who the hairs go on fire. And you can hear them shouting from around the block, "Ree!" every time Trump does anything that makes a lot of sense. They can't deal with it. It's really quite, it's become a comedy show. But you guys wake up every morning and you thank your lucky stars that you have your golden era. We wake up every morning jealous because we would love to be in the position that you're in. Trust me. And the Canadians who don't say that, they know deep down inside that they're lying.
Barbara, I could talk to you all day. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thanks, my guy. I love your show. Thank you. And go.
Oh, darn it. What were you going to say, Barbara? And go what? Oh, no, the mystery that will haunt me all weekend. And go, please, Barbara, call back and tell producer Zach what your sentence was that I missed. Please call again. I'll go on the rest of the day. And go. It was, oh, no, I got it. Yeah. All right. I'll take two more. Hold on, Dave's in Ohio. What's up, Dave?
Hey, just to let you know, I'm here in South Canada, where we build cars. We build Stellantis, our Jeep. We build Chevrolet transmission. We build Chrysler cars, Stellantis transmission. Yeah, we know how to put together a car too. But you know, the thing that really surprised or made me laugh, what's this guy gonna do when those companies, which if you check are all bolted to the floor, they're not laid into it. What happens when the company's unbolted? We know how to build cars too.
I love it. There's actually something really. Thank you for the call. Okay, there was the. Okay, no, let me introduce this idea. There's this guy. Who's the guy? Guys, help me out. Timothy Chalet, maybe. He played Bob Dylan. Anyways, Bob Dylan. I guess it was some videos going around, and he said, "Listen, I worked really hard for this role, and I put my life into it, and for a couple of years, and I think I did a really great job, and I want to be the greatest actor ever, and I'm going to work really hard to be one." And you hear that, you're like, "Whoa." And it was interesting because he's kind of like a baby-looking guy, but he comes out with this alpha statement. And but it's intriguing because there's like a swagger. There's a swagger, and part of it, like one of the great things about America, there's been a shame on this, is this American swagger. And there's been a shame put to it because Europeans would be like, "Oh, yeah."
Coffee sounds good.
It's like, yeah, we are.
I'm gonna wait till I get to the office,
We've
so
lost that swagger, and I think maybe in a lot of ways we've lost the reason for the swagger. So it's like rightfully we've lost the swagger in many ways. But we're gonna get that back. We're gonna get the swagger back, and that's good. We should have that swagger. Wasn't that okay? It was either in the Miracle movie, speaking of Canada, or it was in the maybe like the current coach said. I forget if it was the movie or the actual coach said, "Go out there on that ice with your swagger, get that American swagger, and go out there and beat these Canucks." Well, that's the Canucks. We need that swagger. So there's, like, I love Jake Corbin. You know what? We're the best in the world. Our healthcare, we're going to make sure we're the best.
Weekdays at 9 a.m. East on Sirius XM Patriot.
Honey, I had the worst dream last night. We were in a car crash, and the kids and I were, we had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore. I don't know if you know.
investors. There's a major real estate correction happening. I'm investing in it, and you should too. My name's Grant Cardone, CEO of Cardone Capital, where we manage $4 billion of institutional quality real estate and partner with regular, everyday investors just like yourself. You get all the benefits of great real estate without any of the headaches. I find the deal, negotiate it, buy it, improve it, collect the rent, and on the 15th, distribute cash flow to our investors. We have a proven model distributing over $300 million to our 13,000 investors. At Cardone Capital, we target 12 to 15% IRR, 6% cash flow, and we buy the best markets, best locations, below replacement costs, and cash flow positive at close. To see if you qualify, go to CardoneCapital.com. That's CardoneCapital.com to see if you qualify.
Individual results may vary. There's no guarantee that past performance will be indicative of future results. Invest wisely. See full disclosure at CardoneCapital.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Huckabee. President Trump has made history and is back in the White House. And your kids need to know what this means for their future and our country. That's why they need Kids Guide to President Trump. This fun guide will teach your kids all about...
Yeah, I gotta get the salt off. It's supposed to get cold again after today. Supposed to hit the 50s today, but then be back in the teens tomorrow through the weekend.
National defense, legal immigration, Series 16 Patriot, Channel 125, conservative principles live here.
He's got a book called Unbreakable Investor. You should read it. It's all about investing. Investing 101, it gets to the Republican stuff in the end. Like this section about options. I don't know. It's an option. It's just, I know it's like, if you invest, like, people pick March Madness winners. I like the color. They have a nice logo. It's not the best way to invest. We can do better. Unbreakable Investor, Charles Payne. And there's not only just the basic investing, there's other types of investing as well, and it all is broken down in this book, which you get for free. It's $30 if you buy it online. It's free if you text the word Mike to the number 505-505. Send a link and tell them where to send it. You got to pay for shipping. Unbreakable Investor by Charles Payne. Text the word Mike to the number 505-505.
Sirius XM Patriot presents Breitbart News Daily with your host, Mike Slater.
Not off topic here. Canada, but I'll have this conversation anytime. Our Canadian friends can add some color to this, but Canada's only been a country since 1867. Before that, they were known as British North America, and they were still a bunch of separate colonies. And it was after our Civil War, there were these raids called the Fenian Raids, and there were these Irish people in America. They hated the British. So these Irish Americans led these raids in what we now know as Canada. There was British, right? And we were like, what a bunch of them. And the British in Canada were scared of a further invasion by America. So they said, geez, we better become a country. So that's when they became a country.
Well, yeah, I think the highs are in the 20s, but it's going to be down in the teens in the evening.
And then our last call.
About the same here, I think.
They didn't become a country until 1907. They actually became their own country in 1907. So they were debating whether or not to take Canada or America. And there was a vote after World War II. And one survey, 80% support for Canada. But they did like a three-way vote, and they did come off, and they did. It was only 52%. So
expect to get briefed out to explore some of the other great shows on SiriusXM. Check back in a bit. We expect to bring the show regularly scheduled for this time.
Huh?
Most people don't realize that their life insurance policy is actually an asset they can sell. But for almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. We've even created a free policy value calculator at abacuspace.com so you can find out in seconds what we might pay for your policy. There are no fees and no obligations, just
Liking boobies.
Knowing the value of your life insurance policy is as important as knowing the value of your home, your equity portfolio, or your finances in total. Discover the valuable information you need to understand the current market value for your life insurance, and then get real value for your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Visit abacuspace.com to learn more and use our free policy value calculator today.
If you're a business owner with salespeople, how in the world could you say no to this offer? The top 20% of your salespeople close 80% of the business. 80% of all sales are closed after the 5th attempt, and 83% of all salespeople don't even ask for the sale once. Did you know that 90% of all salespeople have never even read one? So don't even any sales. This video 320. That's 800 500 8320 before the consultation.
Today with Ukrainian President Zelensky at the White House.
The two men are expected to sign an agreement that would give the U.S. access to Ukraine's critical minerals.
It's like a huge economic development project, so it'll be good for both countries.
Ultimately, President Trump said he's hopeful a deal can be reached to end the war. Zelensky this week said that a framework of an economic deal had been reached, but did not yet include U.S. security guarantees, which Ukraine sees as vital. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Sweeping in like a powerful cold front, those cuts come to the National Weather Service.
Meteorologists that forecast local weather were among hundreds under the axe Thursday as Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency moved to shrink a federal workforce that President Donald Trump has called bloated and sloppy. Firings of probationary employees of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration appear to be happening in 2 rounds. One in 5.
Oh, so we're going to have less people that can do the cloud seeding now? Our cloud seeders are getting canned.
The mass firings of probationary federal employees were likely illegal, but the judge stopped short of ordering the reinstatement of those who have been let go or barring firings in the future. A call for Congress to work with President Trump on blunting the global threat posed by communist China.
We should all be concerned about the existential threat that is China, economically and from a military perspective. There's no doubt that a country that lies, cheats, and steals our intellectual property is stealing a part of the future.
Republican Senator Tim Scott talking with the Salem Radio Network's Hugh Hewitt. Russia's foreign ministry suggests restoring
now it'll never rain. Right. Droughts incoming.
Trump administration. Dow futures up 190. More of these stories, townhall.com.
Hey, it's big. Rob Schmidt recently beat CNN in key ratings as millions are tuning into Newsmax. Every night, Rob Schmidt is on Newsmax revealing the truth about Elon Musk's Doge. And tonight, at 7 p.m. Eastern, you find out why Rob is the hottest person in cable news. Even President Trump is worked, and he says Newsmax is terrific. Reuters Institute reports that Newsmax is now one of the top news brands in America. Find out why. Just check out Newsmax on your cable system. And Rob Schmidt, right on substrate, Robert, and much more. Talk about the free Newsmax app.
ease up on the sheep sacrifices.
With Morocco's sheep herds dwindling at an alarming rate, King Mohammed VI made a rare break with tradition by urging families to forego buying sheep to sacrifice during the upcoming Eid al-Adha. In a letter read on state television Wednesday, he said the tradition could harm families with limited income because sheep have become so expensive. That's because rainfall has plummeted, animal feed prices have spiked, and sheep supply has shrunk. It's the first time Morocco has issued such a decree in nearly 30 years for Eid al-Adha, an annual celebration where Muslims slaughter livestock around the world. Keith Peters reporting.
Lebanon's new prime minister has used a tour of areas near the border with Israel that suffered wide destruction during a 14-month Israel-Hezbollah war, all for an Israeli withdrawal, promising residents of border villages a safe return. News and analysis now.
I'm not happy. I'm paying $5. $5 a dozen, damn it.
Let's talk about the people. It's common sense. It's principles and policies that work for everybody. I just want to talk about how to fix this country.
Uh-oh. A felony stop. Fucking 3 of them, man.
You ever feel like you're running a marathon at a full sprint? Woo! What a week. Foreign policy, economic policy, domestic issues. News this morning that while Mexico awaits the tariff play to play out, they've turned over some of the top most wanted cartel members going back decades. So much more. So much. And the week's not over yet. Not even by a long shot. And I say that on a Friday because there's still Saturday. And with the Trump administration moving at the speed of Trump, you never know what's going to happen. Today's another day that is undetermined but could play out quite differently than the way the morning started. Think about it. Earlier in the week, we had President Emmanuel Macron from France. Then you had the Right Honorable, as my friend he was here, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who is not a centrist, but has come to maybe the realization that no matter what you call Trump, he's done lots of that. You're just going to have to face it. Today, President Zelensky from Ukraine is in Washington, D.C.
No, nothing. I'm by myself in the office today, so.
I suspect already that coming in possibly.
Yeah, so fuck it, yeah. So we'll go to Wendy's.
And there is a likelihood President
Nobody can give me a dirty look this morning.
signing a deal for minerals from Ukraine. That's also in the mix. And that's just
yeah, I am gonna go.
And then what that may do for peace or détente, pause,
Peer pressure, yeah,
whatever
that's true.
happens next between Ukraine and Russia, which matters to Emmanuel Macron, Keir Starmer, and the other European, I'll use the term leaders in air quotes in many cases, but let's just call it what they are, the boys in Brussels. Okay, boys and girls in Brussels. I don't want to offend anyone, you know, in Maine, who might want to have a difference with me, and maybe Janet Mills, the governor, might have a difference with me. I think Laurel Libby and I understand each other. Remember her interview earlier in the week, which, to add to the list, I'll be joined later on in the show by Jennifer Say, the founder and CEO of XXXY Athletics of the NCAA's policy after the on, well, let's say, protecting girls. Let's just broaden it. I mean, I was raised. I'm going to go off right here. first to set the tone. Speaking of keeping males out of female sports and stopping, basically failed men from beating up women on any form of field of play.
Wow, I haven't been to Wendy's for breakfast since December 27th.
Donald Trump
Almost made it a whole
in
month.
meeting with governors had Maine Governor Janet Mills in the room.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way, that's good, but I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Are you not going to comply with it? We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding. Every state, good. I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor because I don't think you'll be elected.
Says December 12/27.
Yeah, there are times
So
when
2
I'm
months.
like,
Shit.
I love this guy. He's a New Yorker at heart. He looks you right in the eye and says, "This is what I'm going to do if you." Oh God, I love that. That brings my energy level up. It really does. Plain speak. And we've got plenty more examples because, like I said, what a week. We're going to wrap this week up together. We're going to add some more to go into the weekend. We're even going to take on communism head to head. We'll do that every day with Li Shai. I pronounce it correctly. Li Shai Lemish.
Hi, on.
With the Shen Yun.
Yeah, you're right. It's 2 months.
Amazing. I've always wanted to see that.
No snipers.
Talk about it, but in the sense of liberalism.
Just ran the red light looking out for snipers.
There's so much. Emmanuel Macron stepped in. And, by the way, he speaks perfect English. There's just no other way to say it. But in his presser with President Trump, we'll go through some of the documents and prime ministers. In his presser with President Trump, he had to use the kiss the ring statement. Here it is.
Over the past few hours, and as you mentioned this, Mr. President, we've been able to see a few things take shape. First of all, allow me to commend you on your decision to work with President Zelensky and to conclude this agreement that's so important for the U.S. and Ukraine on rare earths, critical minerals, but also having substantive conversations with President Zelensky during this key phase of achieving this deal, which is a major commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty, and I think that's very commendable.
Eggsy.
We also have a shared desire to build peace.
Is Trump wearing enough rings? Is there kissing them? Here's the UK Prime Minister, the right honorable. I don't know why I'm doing that. It's my British friends just tapping it in my head. And believe me, he's not very honorable at all. He's not a centrist. He's a leftist. The guy who squashes free speech. But here he is, kissing another ring finger. Cut to him.
Mr. President, I welcome your deep and personal commitment to bring peace and to stop the killing. You've created a moment of tremendous opportunity to reach a historic peace deal. A deal that I think would be celebrated in Ukraine and around the world. That is the prize.
I'm doing all right.
All right. And if you think it was only President Trump in the room, do you remember J.D. Vance's speech at the AI Summit? I think some of you might remember that. Very 16 minutes and change of pure, straight talk. Well, he was in the Oval Office with Prime Minister Starmer, the president, of course, sitting there, and Starmer and those two. But what did you call it? Wait till let's go sit in the dictator's chair. I still love it. I can't post that picture now because it was the first time who just spoke at the National Catholic Breakfast moments ago, by the way, had this to say directly to the Prime Minister.
In his remarks at the Munich Security Conference, Vice President Vance condemned free speech violations in the UK. Particularly, could you respond? What is your message?
I have an idea. We have the man right here. Come on. Let's go, JD. Let's putting you on stage.
Great. Yeah, look, I said what I said, which is that we do have, of course, a special relationship with our friends in the UK and also with some of our European allies. But we also know that there have been infringements on free speech that actually affect not just the British. Of course, what the British do in their own country is up to them, but also affect American technology companies and by extension American citizens.
Morning, I'll be with you momentarily.
We'll talk about today at lunch. Thank you.
Out of free speech in the UK. They jail grandmothers. They jail people for speaking their mind. They jail people for reposting or whatever.
What the hell's going on up here?
The gist of this for me, and there's a lot more to the gist. The numbers, of course, they're all grievances. They're all stabbing. President Trump came and sat down in the President cabinet meeting. Greg, we were there, sitting there with us, and he took out a stack of papers. Hey, David, let me show you this. And he goes through. He's look at this. Look at the numbers there, and that's what we. He's a construction guy. I need to know the project's moved ahead since yesterday. Do we have a zoning issue, a variance issue? Is the electrician, is the subcontractor? This is what it is. I need things done. Now, today, President Zelensky is in Washington, D.C. And I don't know when we'll get any kind of readout from that, typically because of the time of the show, obviously. We'll get things around 1 or 2 p.m. Usually not 2 p.m. and on or press her together, right? That's the norm.
No, it started, this was CIA and a good portion of our government financing a coup.
All right, sir, can I kindly get you to back up and go around that car, please?
All right.
Have this to say about Ukraine. And this will set the stage for you.
Just have some biscuit and a coffee.
French toast sticks, too.
Excuse me?
There was 4 French toast sticks.
Talk about Donald Trump.
It's okay.
Winston Churchill's first rule of leadership, and that is jaw is better than war. And I think the president is absolutely right. I mean, even during the height of the Cuban Missile Crisis, there were communications going back and forth between Washington and Moscow. And I think what President Trump is seeing, and I'll just go through quickly 2 figures. Putin is losing 1,700 people a day. During World War II, we lost in 4 years 11,000 tanks.
She's gonna give that out to somebody? No, she's gonna eat it.
He's had his Black Sea fleet pushed off the seas.
Oh shit!
That could get off.
I didn't see that little curb there.
The rest were sunk.
They need the little yellow sign. It's already knocked over.
He's reached strategic exhaustion.
Man, there's a hard curb check.
Trump knows that. And that is why he made that call.
That's my fucking wheel.
And I do believe, because I worked for him for 4 years, he does want to protect Ukraine's sovereignty. He knows Putin's a gangster.
They don't know how to do the drive-through there, I swear.
Not as some half-baked Princeton debating society wishes it was.
Sound advice, or the way it is.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
With the election behind us, my good friend, Fox Business Insurance
Potholes.
believes that
Curbs.
pro-business
Oh my.
is going to create huge opportunities in the market. So grab your cell phone, text my name, David, to 505-505.
Curb check, yeah.
With access to a free copy of his book, Unbreakable Investing.
One curb and one big old pothole. My tire, they're trying to kill my tires.
So whether you're working or retired, invest on your own through a broker or in your company's 401k. You need to read his book and see the results and strategies.
All right, guys. You have a great one.
Right now, Charles
I'll try to go live, but by myself today. So I get for taking last Friday off to see my grandbaby. All right, guys, I'll see you in a bit.